Hello and welcome back to the Gaming Tech channel, everybody. We're back with our Forza Horizon 5 series, and we're going to be starting the session off with the 2003 Audi RS6. This car looks very sleeper. You can barely tell that this is an RS model, but it is. You can kind of tell by the oval tips and the badges, but other than that, looks like your regular A6. So we won this car in our last session from one of the championships that we did. And it's our first time driving it. So I honestly thought this car was a naturally aspirated V8, but turns out I was wrong. This car is twin turbo V8 from factory. So I have the RS4 from the same era, and that car is a 4.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, and this car had very similar horsepower to that car. So I thought maybe this is also, the same engine, but turns out this actually has twin turbos. And I actually found out by looking at the torque figures. So I'll show you the torque on this car. It's 415 foot-pounds of torque, 450 horsepower. And I was comparing it to, where did it go? Where did it go? The RS. Huh? Oh, right here. So I was comparing it to the RS4 from the 2006, and this is a little bit tuned. I put intake and exhaust on it, but nothing else. And this has 444 horsepower, so I thought maybe same engine, right? Almost the same displacement. But then I looked at the torque figures. This car has less than 350 torque, 335 after intake and exhaust, where the car we're in right now has 415 torque. And that got me thinking. I'm like, dude, this can't be the same engine. And then, I'll just show you what I did. And then I took it to our garage and did the Forza Vista. And by doing that, I looked at the engine bay and I saw the bi-turbo logo, the bi-turbo sign. And I was like, damn, dude, how come I didn't know this car was twin turboed from factory? So it seems like they twin turboed the same 4.2 liter. Maybe they detuned it a little bit. I mean, it doesn't rev that high, so maybe it's less compression because they put twin turbos on it. So this one only revs to about 7,000, 7,200, which is still quite high for a twin turbo V8. But the RS4, the naturally aspirated version V8, goes to like 8,500, 8,200 RPM, so it revs higher because there's no turbos attached to it. So this car is a real sleeper. So this car's next generation was a V10 twin turbo, I believe, like the 2006 model. But I had zero clue, I had no idea that this car was a bi-turbo V8. Isn't that crazy? So I know these older Audis have slow transmissions, Well, comparing it to our modern standard transmissions, they're a little bit slower, but they felt fine back in the days, Alright, let's stay away from that dust storm. So this car is a total sleeper. Let's do a top speed run here. Let's find out what this car can do while it's still stock. It sounds good, but the exhaust is a little muffled due to the turbos. So it has a long fourth gear. This transmission feels a little faster compared to the V10 twin turbo RS6. I don't know if that's just me, but it does feel a little quicker. It's got a nice soft suspension from factory. It's soaking in all those bumps. Well, I mean, it's stiffer than a regular A6, but still pretty, you know, on the soft side, I would say. So it does 170 miles in fourth gear. So it's got long gear ratios. Wow, 178 in fourth gear. The Koenigsegg just passed us, of course. Wow, this gear is really long, dude. We almost hit 180 in fourth. How many gears does it have? Does it only have 5 gears or 6? Let's find out. So here's fifth. It's still pulling. It's still going. So I just tried shifting, and turns out this car only has 5 gears. Unlike the one generation after this, the RS6 with the V10 twin turbo, that came with a 6-speed, I believe. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. So with the current power levels, the stock power levels, we can only properly use the first 4 gears, which is fine. Let's do a Let's do a clutch dump here. No, that doesn't even work. Let's try it one more time. Maybe not all the way. Maybe let's like rev it up to 4K. 5. Nope. Why isn't it working? Maybe we have too much traction and not enough power to do this. Okay. That kind of worked. It didn't bog, but that was a really slow launch. This car definitely needs a better transmission. I'm thinking a 6-speed at least. We could go for just, you know, all out. We could just go all out, get the 10-speed in here. It's a total sleeper. Audi Quattro. So here's what I want to do. I want to do some weight reduction on this car and put a better transmission in here. We did a very similar setup to the RS4 last time. and it worked out really good. And maybe small bolt-ons, you know, exhaust and intake. The exhaust is really gonna wake up this engine. So this is the stock exhaust, pretty muffled because, you know, we have turbos and a big exhaust. So this engine doesn't sound as mechanical as the RS4 engine without the turbos, but it still sounds good. That's the traditional German V8 sound. I like that. And let's do some intake work. Alright, intake exhaust, and what is our power level right now? Wow, just with intake and exhaust, we're pretty close to 500 horsepower, so this car's got some good potential. I like it. It's starting to grow on me. Oh my god, bro. Switching to race turbos will give us extra 174 horsepower? Okay, we're not gonna do that just yet. We're gonna save that for later. And we can do cams. Oh, damn, bro. Okay, for now, we're just gonna do intake exhaust. And we're gonna make it lighter. And put a better transmission. So, the car is, you know, kind of heavy. Because it's an Audi with a V8 twin turbo, all-wheel drive, and it's a sedan. So we can reduce how much? 810 pounds? Yeah, let's do that. That's really gonna help us out here. Yup. We're gonna make this car lighter. Wow, the 0 to 60 time goes down by half a second. That's a significant, you know, drop right there. Perfect. So now, we'll leave the suspension stock for now. Let's put a better transmission in here. Ten-speed? I feel like that's going to be too many gears, but again, we can adjust each gear individually. So we don't have to use all the gears, you know. That's the good thing about 10-speed. Clutch, yeah, clutch and transmission. And a lighter drive shaft. That's it for now. That's it. Nothing else. Power goes up by a little bit. Weight goes down by a lot. About 25% less weight. And yeah, a little bit more grip. It's gonna be an A-class, a mid-A-class car instead of, like, you know, a B-class car. So that's good. Stage 1 upgrade done. Let's see how the car does now. Actually, let's take a look at the gearing here as well. The gearing seems fine. I think we should make it a little longer. Yeah, we should definitely make it longer. We don't want to use all 10 gears there, especially as turbos, so I wanted to hold each gear for a little longer. Yeah, our 0 to 60 time already got better from 3.6 to 3.4. Is it going to help the car if you make it even longer? No. This is just about right. Okay. Let's take it back on the highway. It wants to peel out now. I like that. It sounds very similar to the C63. Of course, not quite the same, but almost like a C63. Wow, this transmission shifts so much faster. Yeah, the suspension is loose. Just because we reduce so much weight, the car doesn't feel as settled anymore. So I'm thinking we might have to do the springs and dampers. And maybe sport tires. Yeah, at least sport tires, you know. Just the stage 1. Yeah, let's do that quickly. It really needs that. I can tell. The car is like all over the place now. We couldn't tell before because it was heavy and it wasn't gaining speed as fast. But now we can tell. So we don't need the anti-roll bars just yet. It doesn't have like any roll. It just has soft suspension overall. So let's make that tighter. We are going to go with the race. Race springs and dampers. And we'll leave the brakes stock because we don't have that much power right now. Plus, we made the car lighter, so that should also help with the stock brakes. And we're not making the tires wider. We're just putting better compound on here. So we're just going to do the street tires. Or should we do sport? Let's do sport. We're not going to do semi-slicks. Or race slicks. But we will go to the second step here. Get the sport tire compound. Okay. Now it's a solid A-class car. We still have some room to improve, so if you need to add any more power later down the road, we can do that. But for now, it's good. Let's see if we have tightened up the car. I'm really liking this new transmission, man. It really woke up the V8. The car feels very planted now. Oh, look at that. Super planted. It has just enough grip. The suspension is on point. It's stiff, but it's not like super stiff. Because we didn't go with the anti-roll bars. That would have made it a little too stiff. It still like leans in the corner. Leans in a little bit when we try to turn the car. So that's not too bad. I like it. Just a slight lean, you know. Nothing too crazy. Not a huge roll. Oh yeah, it's good. Before the car really slowed down around 170 miles per hour, but right now it just keeps on going. Thanks to the 10 speed. Plus it's much lighter now, 800 pounds lighter. We're doing 190. There's so much grip, bro. It takes all these turns with ease now, you know. I think we should add a little bit more power to this car. Yeah, just a tiny bit more. It can definitely handle it without a problem. Okay, we can do sport twin turbos. Give it extra 103 horsepower. And almost the same amount of torque, a little bit less than 100. Yeah, that might be our best option here, because if we do cams, that's only going to increase our horsepower and not our torque by that much. Plus, it's going to shift our power band. So, I do want this car to feel torquey. Yeah, we're going to go with the sport twin turbos here. This car will be a 799 then. We can do lighter flywheel. That might hurt the top end power. But down low it's gonna rev a lot quicker. I think I'll do it. Yeah, we're gonna do the sport twin turbos, race flywheel. And our power levels is gonna be 582, 536 torque. And the car's below 3,200 pounds with all-wheel drive, so that's really, really good. Okay, that's gonna be our final A-class setup. Not our final setup overall, we might change it down the road. But for now, this is the best it's gonna get within A-class. Can we do a clutch dump now? It revs so much faster now. Nice. Spins up all fours. It's proper fast now. It's not crazy fast, but it's proper fast. Wow. How are the stock brakes holding up? Let's find out. They work. I'll rate them like 7 out of 10. They were 10 out of 10 before with the stock power levels. Okay, here's the thing. I think we can make the gear ratios longer now. 3.2, 3.197? Wow. Can it get better than that? No. Alright, let's leave it right here. What a sleeper, man. I like this car. That was fun. All right. Let's switch to a different car now. We got a variety of Audis now. This is a pretty light car. Let's see what kind of engine swap options this has. I don't think I've ever driven it. It's got decent torque. Not bad, dude. For some reason, it feels fast, even though it's not fast. You know what I mean? Turns in really good. Considering this is a front wheel. Nice. Yeah, it has a good turn in for a front wheel drive car. Not bad. How much power does it have again? This Escort RS Turbo. It's from 1986. Wow, it's really old. I mean, not really old, but it's old. It's from your Fox body era. Only 133 foot-pounds of torque, under 30 horsepower. Crazy, right? But since it's light, it feels really quick. It's not fast, but it feels quick. Feels peppy. Yeah, I don't think I've ever driven it before. Makes good sounds. Alright, I want to modify it now. We might even make it rear-wheel drive. This car with like, 300 horsepower should be a lot of fun. Before we modify the stock engine, I want to see what kind of swap options we have for the engine. So we can swap a 1.6 liter straight 4, a rally turbo rally engine, which is 300 horse, 332 foot-pounds of torque. Or we could do the 2 liter naturally aspirated and turbo that. Or we can just leave the stock power plant and modify that. Oh, this is actually fuel injected? That's crazy. That's nice. Thought it'd be like carbureted, but it's actually fuel injected. Okay, let's check out the power limit of the stock 1.6 turbo. What if we max it out? What kind of power are we gonna get? We can get it up to, yeah, 2 liters. Nice. That's nice. Okay, I don't want that. Wow, we can get some decent power out of this 1.6. Well, it's a 2 liter now. Almost 400 horsepower? I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking like maybe 300 tops, but almost 400 horse and more than 350 torque? That's solid, man. That's a solid front wheel drive car now. Alright, we're actually gonna build this car. Put some better brakes on here. Lower it. Some roll bars. Reinforce the chassis. And of course, make it even lighter. It gets down to 1,954 pounds. Nice. Better clutch. And put a 6-speed in here. It doesn't need a 10-speed. Unless we make it all-wheel drive. I think I want to make it rear-wheel drive. Okay, I'm gonna wait on doing the transmission, the drivetrain here. So before we do the drivetrain, I'm actually gonna just convert it to rear-wheel drive. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Of course, all-wheel drive is gonna be better with traction, but I just want to have fun with this car. Cool. So it looks like we're spending a lot of money on the engine modifications. What if we just swap the engine? Is that gonna be cheaper? Well, not really. Because it's less horsepower overall. And if we spend more money on that to get the horsepower up, It's gonna be like the same thing. Yeah, let's leave the stock engine in here. Stock but modified. What about the 2-liter? What's the max horsepower on the 2-liter? I really want to find out now. Might as well, right? Before we finalize the setup. We have the time right now. So it's a 2-liter turbo from factory. The one that we just put in. So let me check them. Oh, this sounds really good. That's way more power compared to the stock engine fully maxed out. Yeah, it's a little bit more money, but it's all good. .540 horse, 449 torque. It's pretty much like 100 more horse and 100 more torque compared to the stock engine fully maxed. I like that. And now we can work on the drivetrain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 10 speed. We'll change the gear ratios after. Race stiff. And we're actually gonna go with race slick race tire compound. And the widest we can put on here, it's gonna be a 225mm squared setup. Perfect. Let's put some light wheels on here as well. So the lightest is going to be minus 24 pounds. Okay. I like these wheels. Kind of match the whole theme of the car. Match the blue stripe on the side. While the blue on the wheels is like, you know, a little bit different than the blue on the car. But it matches the whole vibe. I like it. Yeah, it matches the Ford logo. And the stripe, kind of. So yeah, these are fine. Nice tuner style wheels. Instead of converting this into a rally car, we converted it into a race car. Race brakes, race springs and dampers, front and back roll bars, chassis reinforcement, weight reduction, rear wheel drive. From front wheel drive, it's not a front wheel drive anymore. A turbo, 4-liter. Oh, what am I saying? A turbo, 2-liter straight 4. Race intake, fuel, ignition, exhaust, cams and valves, engine block, race pistons, race turbo, race intercooler, oil cooling, flywheel, 10 speed, race driveline, race stiff, slick race tire compounds, front and back are 225mm, and we got the wed sports. Perfect. The Wed Sport. Alright, we're spending a bunch of money on this car, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to be fun. This is going to be a fun little build. Oh, the gear ratios is so short. Let's make them longer, man. That's good. £2,000 car with 550 horsepower. This is gonna be fun. Damn, bro. Even though this is 550 horsepower, it feels like 1,000 horsepower because of the weight. The power to weight ratio is really good. I believe the 2-liter engine that we swapped in here is from a Nissan. Alright, we need to work on the gear ratios. Alright, let's try that. Since it's such a light car and we're not going to be like, you know, rallying with it. This is a race car. I'm going to add some aero to this car so it feels more stable at higher speeds. I'm not worried about the top speed here. I just wanted to handle better. Front splitter. And a nice big wing at the back. Now we're talking. We spent over like 125 grand on this $25,000 car. It's 150K build now. Isn't that crazy? Oh dude, it has so much more grip now. You can really feel the downforce above 80 miles per hour. Wow. So much better. That's crazy. Still a little too fast. Alright, this is not a car that you just drive on the highway. This is for the back roads. All these roads with lots of twists in them. All the curvy roads, you know? Yeah, roads like this. I feel like if I chain the wheel compound, the tire compound, to a rally and chain the suspension to rally, this would be a nice rally car. Now that it has rear-wheel drivetrain, I can always do that for a rally race. This person is trying to catch up pretty badly. They're right behind me now. Bro, you got a freaking Koenigsegg? I'm in a Ford Escort Turbo, man. It took him a while to catch up, I don't know why. I think he kept on crashing. Where's my Koenigsegg? Right here, Pagani. Oh, this is a Pagani, not a Koenigsegg. Now we're in a proper hypercar. The Pagani Huayra. Let's go. This is bone stock, by the way. It's got 0 mods. I barely modify my hypercars. Or even some of the supercars, I just keep them stock. Maybe I'll do, like, you know, tires to them. Change the tires to a better compound, but, like, that's about it. I like how they drive when they're stock. I save all the modifications for, like, sports cars and, like, you know, all the slow cars. All right, I want to test out the Audi RS6 that we built earlier in the starting of the stream. I want to see how it does on the back roads here. Yeah, it's got the understeer, which is to be expected from an all-wheel drive Audi, right? It's not that bad. You just have to you just have to be mindful about it, you know? Yeah, this car is definitely made for the highway. It's an Autobahn car. Not that bad though. You just can't drive it like a rear-wheel drive car. Now here's another thing I want to do. I want to drive a BMW that is from the same era as this Audi RS6. So like, you know, 2003, 4, 5. And this also has some bolt-ons, so it's not fully modified, but it has bolt-ons. As you can see, it's lighter than stock, probably has, you know, better compound tires. But it's a rear-wheel drive, and it's from the same era, same year, 2003. So let's see how the rear-wheel drive car, the rear-wheel drive BMW drives compared to an all-wheel drive Audi. So again, a naturally aspirated V8. Sounds great. And it's a manual. When it comes to these back roads, man, you just can't go wrong with the rear-wheel drive. The control is much superior. It's more predictable. There's no understeer, it's all about oversteer. I like both brands. I like BMW and Audis and Mercedes. But this is more oriented towards handling. I can just tell right away. Basically, this is a summer car, where Audi is like your winter car. Or you can say that's an all-rounder car, where you can't really drive this in winter. I mean, you can, you just have to be really careful. Wow. This car is crazy, bro. And this is not even the latest M5. Not even close to the latest M5. We got like how many generations after this? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 more generations after this one. After this, you have the V10 M5, and after that, you got the V8 twin turbo, and then the all-wheel drive V8 twin turbo after that, and then the latest one, V8 twin turbo with the hybrid motors. So 4 freaking generations, bro. This is your OG V8 M5. Alright, now I'm going to switch to our Ford Escort here, because we just spent so much money on that car. Now the real question is this going to feel better than the M5 that we were just in? Let's see. There's only one way to find out. So right off the bat, this is a shorter wheelbase, so it's not going to feel as settled as the M5. And another thing here, the suspension is a little too low. I'm going to raise it up so it has more suspension travel. Alright. Everything else is good. And I'm going to reduce the camber a little bit. I'm going to go 0.5 in the back and 1 in the front. Okay. And also, the downforce, I'm going to reduce that as well. Where is it? We can reduce it more. Yeah, let's reduce it all the way. Perfect. Let's drive this car now. So right off the bat, I can tell you that this car does feel quicker because it has a turbo. And we all know turbos make a lot more torque down low. But when you compare it to the M5 or the RS6, it feels like this is harder to control. But in terms of fun, it's just as fun because we have the power to make up for it. And we got the lightweight, about like 1,000 to 1,500 pounds lighter, so that's why I'm saying it's just as fun. Not in its stock configuration, don't get me wrong. In its stock configuration, it's not even close to those cars. Those cars are like miles in front of this car, you know. But the way we have this car modified, yeah, it's fun. And it's definitely made for like, you know, tighter roads. This is more like an autocross car, where those cars are more for like your, you know, bigger back roads and your highway roads. I think I'll still pick the M5 over this. The longer wheelbase just feels better. This can be like the weekend car. You know, you want to take it to the track. Take this, drive the M5 daily, and when it's snowing, use the RS6. That'd be a nice combo, right? Have all three. Alright, there's one more car that I want to drive before we call it a night. And that's the GT500. Again, if you want to drive a Mustang on the back roads, I think the GT350 is a better choice. This is suited more for the highways and the drag strip. This is a true American muscle, man. This is the real deal. This and the Corvette. Yeah, the Camaros are nice too, but I prefer this. I think I'd pick this over a Hellcat easily, any day. There's nothing wrong with the Hellcats. They're just a little too heavy. I feel like on a road trip, Hellcat will be better. It's bigger, more comfier. This thing screams. And it looks so mean. That's a mean looking machine. You got a dual clutch 7-speed. It's much better than the 10-speed auto that you get in the regular GT. Wow. Alright, we're gonna drive the GT350 for a little bit before I call it a night here. Where are you, GT350? It's slightly modified, nothing too crazy. It's a little bit lighter, it's got bolt-ons on it, better tires. It's still a naturally aspirated V8 that revs to 8250 from factory, but this one revs to 9200 almost because it's cammed. Wow. It sounds so mechanical. Is it the R? Oh yes, it's the GT350R. With the carbon wheels and all that. This is the perfect car for back roads. The 5.2 liter Voodoo engine. Oh. So good. This is where you shift your regular Mustang GT around like 7,000 RPM. Maybe 7,500 if you have a tune on it, you know, if it's tuned. But that's still risking the motor. I've seen videos where people rev them up to 8,000, and I'm like, bro, I don't know if that's gonna last that long, you know, especially in the stock engine. Where this, you can rev it up to 8,000, 9,000 all day long. Well, not 9,000. Definitely 8,000. In this game, 9,000, yes. Maybe if you get a cam in real life, yeah, maybe then you can rev it up to 9,000. Again, there's a difference between revving a Honda up to 9,000 and a V8 up to 9,000. Just unless you don't care about rebuilding the motor, then yeah, go ahead. Who cares? I love how this thing drives, man. It's a long gearing, high revving motor or engine. I know some people don't like it when you call engines motor. Perfectly balanced chassis. Some nice wide tires, bro. A 6-speed manual transmission. This is a perfect combo right here. What a beautiful looking car. And now we're gonna end the stream because I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.